Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to demystify two of the most common and frankly confusing numbers you see on a car's spec sheet: horsepower and torque.
Okay, so you see these words everywhere, right? Thrown around in car reviews, plastered on spec sheets, but what do they actually feel like when you're on the road? What's the real, tangible difference between a car that's all about torque versus one that boasts high horsepower? All right, to really get this, we've got to start with the fundamentals. Torque and horsepower. They're definitely related, you hear them together all the time, but they actually describe two very different things about how your engine performs. So let's kick things off with torque. Think of torque as that immediate, raw grunt, that twisting force your engine makes. You know, it's like when you're on a bicycle. The amount of force you can stop down on that pedal to get yourself moving from a dead stop, that's torque. It's just pure rotational muscle. And really, that's the whole point. That twisting force is what physically gets your car rolling from a standstill. It's that initial shove you feel in your seat, the raw power that gets those wheels turning in the first place.
Now, horsepower, that's a different beast. It's not really a force in the same way torque is. It's a measurement of the rate at which work gets done. It's not about how strong the engine is, but how fast it can deliver that strength.
And this is a fantastic way to picture what you actually feel in the driver's seat. Torque is that awesome push you feel in your back when the light turns green. But horsepower? That's the pace. That's what lets you keep accelerating and maintain that speed once you're already moving.
Okay, but here's the crucial part. Torque and horsepower aren't like two separate things competing with each other. Nope, they are fundamentally, mathematically linked. And the key that connects them both is engine speed, what we call RPM, or revolutions per minute. And there it is. That's the formula right there. You literally can't even calculate horsepower without knowing the torque and the RPM. They really are just two sides of the very same coin anytime an engine is running. And this illustrates the relationship perfectly. For most engines, you'll see that torque, that grunt, is highest at lower engine speeds to give you that strong launch. But then, as the engine revs higher, torque might start to drop off a bit. But because the engine is spinning so much faster, the rate of work, the horsepower, just keeps on climbing and hits its peak way up in the RPM range.
All right, now this is where we need to clear up a really common misunderstanding. That big torque number you see on the spec sheet, that's not actually the force you're feeling at the wheels. There's a super important middleman.
And this quote nails it. The transmission, your gearbox, completely changes the game. Think of it like a torque multiplier.
So just picture how that force travels. The engine makes the initial torque. Then the transmission takes that force and, like a set of levers, multiplies it through its gears. First gear gives you this huge multiplication to get a heavy car moving. Higher gears, not so much. And this is why horsepower is so critical for acceleration. See, an engine with maybe a little less torque, but the ability to rev way higher, can use its gearing to put incredible force to the wheels. And often, it'll accelerate even faster than a super high torque engine.
Okay, so let's put this all together. When are you actually going to feel the difference between a high torque car and a high horsepower car out on the real road?
This table lays it out perfectly. You're going to feel that torque when you're doing the heavy lifting, pulling a trailer, climbing a really steep hill, or just getting a big, loaded-down truck to start moving. But you feel the horsepower when you need to get up to speed fast, like merging onto a highway or passing somebody. And if you want the absolute simplest way to remember it, this is it. Torque gets the load moving, horsepower keeps it moving. Simple as that. And of course, the kind of engine you're dealing with totally changes this dynamic. Diesel engines, they're just torque monsters down low in the RPM range, which is perfect for a big truck. And then you've got electric cars. They're on another level entirely. They give you 100% of their twisting force the instant you touch the pedal. That's what gives you that silent but absolutely insane acceleration from a dead stop.
All right, let's wrap this up. If you're going to remember just 3 things from all this, make it these 3.
First up, just remember the basic difference. Torque is the raw strength, the potential to do work. Horsepower is how fast you can use that strength over and over again.
Number 2, don't get hung up on just the peak torque number on a spec sheet. It doesn't tell you the whole story. Remember, the transmission is a total game changer. And because of that gearing, horsepower, which considers both torque times RPM, is almost always a better clue to a car's real-world acceleration potential.
And last but not least, number 3, there's no such thing as a better number. It's not a competition. The perfect balance really depends on what you need the vehicle to do. If you're pulling a heavy boat up a ramp, torque is going to be your best friend. But if you're looking for that thrilling on-ramp speed and highway performance, you're going to want plenty of horsepower.
So, the next time you're looking at car specs, you'll know exactly what you're looking at. You'll be able to see past the numbers and really understand how a car is going to feel when you drive it, and most importantly, which one is actually right for you. Thanks for joining this explainer.